Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, for all of you that do now or in the past have ever worked in any kind of emergency services, you know what I'm about to tell you is bad. I messed up and it's all my fault. Yesterday morning, I was thinking to myself that it's been kind of slow the last several days. Not very many calls, just little minor stuff. It's almost been dead. It's been eerily slow. And then immediately I thought to myself, don't think that, Travis, because now you're just going to get slammed. And well, since yesterday noonish till just now, and it's probably not over yet, yeah, that's been the case. Just been pretty much nonstop. A little break last night, but not much. I mentioned yesterday that the reason why I didn't get a video out last night is we were on a search and rescue call out in the National Forest. Everything turned out pretty good on that one. There was a lesson to be learned, especially for a lot of you. They went out yesterday. It was in the 90s, and we had high humidity, and there was a heat advisory out because of the humidity and the heat. And a group of people went out in the National Forest and went hiking. And they were young, fit. They've done it before. So that wasn't the problem. The problem was they didn't take enough water with them, and they weren't really paying attention to themselves with the heat. And they got, well, over heat exhaustion. 3 of them we treated on the scene, and 1 we had to pull backboard out and transport. Everyone's going to be okay, but the point is that you need to be watching the heat, and you need to be carrying lots of water. So they were out for about 7 hours, and each of them had a water bladder with them, and that's what they brought. And for those of you that ever may think you have to bug out, run out in the woods, go hide, take off on a big long hike, you better take lots of water. However much water you think you need, you better double it. And if you have to take stuff out of your pack to replace it with some water, I would advise doing that, because you're going to need more water than you think, no matter what. Unless you're very, very, very experienced, you're going to need more water than you think. And then we had storms last night, and I'm part of the county storm watch team, where we keep all the emergency service people alerted as to what's going on with weather. So I was up with that. And then this morning, very early, had a call for a pretty serious vehicle accident. Just finished that up. So that's just how it goes. So any of you that are thinking about, have a thought about, maybe becoming in law enforcement, fire, medical, EMS, any of that kind of stuff, you can't ever say, and apparently not even think, that it's slow, because it'll get you. Anyways, so apparently Qatar is trying to negotiate some kind of ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. The reports are that it's going good, and that it's expected to take a few days. They have put in a request for Iran to hold off any of their attacks until this is done, and Iran has responded that we don't care, we're not listening to you. So, but yet they still haven't done anything. So we'll see what goes on with that. The big news, I think, right now is probably the monkeypox. It's interesting. Right after the World Health Organization said, hey, this is a global emergency, then all of these nations start popping up with cases. Sweden says that they have their first case, and now Pakistan says that they have 3 cases. And then yesterday it was reported that San Francisco has positive tests in their sewage water, but that's not, it's technically true, but it's not that big a deal. We've had monkeypox before. Remember that? Not we've had, but we've seen it, right? I ain't had it. I'm not getting it. But a couple of years ago, there was the scare with monkeypox. Well, the thing that's happening now is a new strain, they say. It's mutated, and it's a new strain. And that's the one that they're worried about. What was tested positive in San Francisco's water sewer system was the original strain. So as of right now, there is still no new strain of monkeypox that's been positively confirmed here in the United States, but I'm sure it's going to happen. Now, my gut, and that's all it is, my gut tells me that this is not the pandemic. I just don't see how they could spin this into being the big pandemic, that it would affect everyone because of how it's transmissible. Unless it becomes airborne or be where it's more easily transmitted through touch and saliva and stuff. While it can be, from what I was reading, yes, it technically can be transmitted that way, but it's very difficult. That upwards of 90 to 95% of the transmissions are basically sexually transmitted. That's the bulk of it. So unless things change it, I don't think that's going to be it. Could it be something else? Probably. Just since they've been the news and everyone's been talking about monkeypox, the H5N1 bird flu has kind of come back into the conversation. And there's something like 190 some herds of cattle in the United States that have tested positive for it. And I believe it was the CDC is saying that they worry that there's a whole lot more out there of cattle that are positive for the bird flu, but farmers are just, and ranchers are just refusing to test. They don't want to test because they don't have to shut down their operation, slaughter their herd or whatever. Is that going to be the one? It's possible. It's possible. I think it's most of us realize that they're going to do something, right? They're going to come up with something to get everyone all in a craziness and to cause some kind of chaos and turmoil and lockdowns and mandates and restrictions. I mean, it would fit perfectly. Possibly if a World War III scenario doesn't work out, maybe they plan on doing it together. But I mean, these people aren't stupid. These globalists, world leaders. There's my radio. Hopefully I can get through this video without a call. These globalists, these leaders, these elites, these satanic deep state people. I mean, they're not stupid. They're not. We may not agree with them and all that, but they're not stupid. So I'm sure they have multiple contingency plans of, we'll go this route, and if this doesn't work, then we'll switch to plan B, and then the plan C, and maybe we'll do several of them together. And so that's what makes it probably a little bit more difficult for those of us trying to kind of brace ourselves for what's coming, is we honestly don't know what's coming. Is it World War III? It kind of builds up and it looks like it's happening, and then it kind of cools down a little bit. Same thing with the pandemics and the diseases. And the economy is the same way. Just days ago we had, a very, sharp decline in the stock market, and then now it's recovered. And then today gold set a new record high already today. So it's just this bouncing back and forth, and maybe part of it is to keep us off balance, but possibly it's also to see what catches. It's like they're taking a big old handful of spaghetti and they're throwing it against the wall, and they're just seeing what part of it sticks. And maybe that's the simplicity of it. So I know it makes it seem difficult. Well, how in the world do we prepare for this? Well, you don't, I've said this so many times, don't focus on preparing for some specific single incident or even specific multiple incidents. Your goal should be to be as self-sufficient as possible. To find yourself in a place that you need government, the supply chain, the grid, anything like that, very, very little to none. And the more that you are just dependent upon your needs yourself, that your needs come from what you're doing, the better off you're going to be. Yes, you have your stockpiles. Yes, you develop skills to take care of yourself. And while you may still be connected to the grid, you may still be going to the grocery store, you're still buying your fuel for your vehicles, going to work, all that, your contingency plan should look something like, well, if I don't have an electric grid, I'm either producing my own electricity, or I have it set up and know how to not need that electricity. I don't need the refrigeration. I don't need, to pump water from the well because I have an alternative resource, or I don't need protection. I don't need to call 911 because I can handle my protection and defense myself. I can handle my medical myself. I can handle, a fire on my property myself. I don't need to worry about going to the grocery store for food if that goes away. Yes, it's nice to have it now, but if it goes away, I will switch to plan B, just like the elites, the government, and the ones that control them are doing. And I'll produce my own food. I will ramp it up a little bit more, so that now I'm living solely off of what I produce. That really needs to be your goal. That's why I've always believed that homesteading, this ambiguous term, but that homesteading is really a much higher level of prepping. You're not just storing away some food in a closet. You're actually out there producing your own stuff. What your needs are, you're producing that. And that's really where it's at. And so it's, as much as all this craziness is happening and we don't know exactly where it's going, we all need to be focused very heavily on figuring out how to do for ourselves, how to be self-sufficient, how to produce our own stuff that we need. And then the things that you can't produce, that's where the community comes in. That's where having a little tribe, a little group of people that you can all depend on. You're growing the vegetables, they're producing the eggs, they're producing the milk. This person over here is the medical person, this person over here is the welder, this one over here is the carpenter, that kind of stuff. So that when things fall apart, you're not needing outside help. And as strange as that may sound, for most modern people, that's the way humans have been forever. It's always been that way. And we need to get back to that, because hard days are coming on us, folks. They really are. Even was it last couple of days, I heard that Biden said something about that they were expecting a soft landing, which I keep telling you, that's their little key word for it. It's coming. Economic soft landing. If they're saying it's a soft landing and not saying, oh no, it's not going to happen, then it's going to be hard. So get ready, folks. Get your houses in order and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.